Sam Bankman-Fried's story is already one of the most infamous in modern finance. Once celebrated as a visionary founder of FTX, he became a cautionary tale of hubris, mismanagement, and fraud. Yet the collapse of his empire obscured something remarkable: the portfolio of venture bets he had assembled before his downfall. Investments in companies like Anthropic, SpaceX, Cursor, Robinhood, and Solana were not only bold, but, in hindsight, extraordinarily prescient. If Bankman-Fried had stayed out of legal trouble, those bets might have transformed him into one of the greatest investors of his generation, with returns rivaling Warren Buffett or Sequoia Capital. We imagined his alternate timeline, exploring how his venture portfolio could have reshaped industries, politics, and philanthropy, and what his returns might look like today. At the height of his power, FTX was valued at $32 billion, and Bankman Fried was worth more than $20 billion personally. He was not content to simply run a crypto exchange. He wanted to build an empire that spanned finance, technology, and global influence. His venture arm poured money into startups across artificial intelligence, fintech, and blockchain. These investments were not scattershot. They reflected his belief that the future would be defined by three forces: decentralized finance, artificial intelligence, and the merging of traditional and digital markets. In this alternate history, where FTX never collapsed, those bets would have matured into a portfolio worth nearly $100 billion. Consider Anthropic, the artificial intelligence company founded by former OpenAI researchers. In 2022, Bankman Fried invested roughly $500 million, securing a stake that initially represented more than 13% of the company. At the time, Anthropic was a niche player focused on AI safety, but the explosion of demand for large language models after ChatGPT changed everything. Anthropic's Claude models became leaders in the field, and the company's valuation soared to nearly $1 trillion. In this counterfactual world, Bankman Fried's stake, even after dilution, would be worth around $80 billion. That single investment alone would have made him one of the richest men in the world, and it would have cemented his reputation as a visionary who saw the AI revolution coming before most of Wall Street did. His involvement in Anthropic would also have given him influence over the trajectory of AI safety, aligning with his philanthropic interest in existential risk. Cursor, an AI coding startup, was another of his bets. Bankman Fried invested a mere $200,000 for a 5% stake. At the time, Cursor was barely known outside niche developer circles. But as AI coding assistants became mainstream, Cursor's technology attracted attention from giants like SpaceX. In this imagined timeline, SpaceX acquires Cursor for $60 billion, making Bankman Fried's stake worth $3 billion. That represents a 15,000-fold return, one of the most extraordinary multiples in venture capital history. Such a windfall would have turned him into a legend in Silicon Valley, the kind of investor whose name is whispered with awe in startup boardrooms. SpaceX itself was another cornerstone of his portfolio. Through K5 Global, Bankman Fried funneled around $200 million into Elon Musk's space company. SpaceX has since become the most valuable private company in the world, with a potential IPO targeting a valuation of $2 trillion. In this alternate reality, his indirect stake would be worth around $15 billion. That would have positioned him as one of the largest private investors in Musk's empire, giving him a seat at the table in humanity's push toward Mars and satellite internet dominance. The symbolism of a crypto billionaire backing the world's leading space company would have reinforced his image as a man betting on civilization's future. Robinhood was another bold move. Bankman Fried purchased a 7.6% stake for $648 million, giving him influence over one of the most important retail trading platforms in the United States. Robinhood's market cap has since rebounded to around $66 billion, making his stake worth about $5 billion. While not as spectacular as Anthropic or Cursor, this investment represented his ambition to bridge crypto and traditional finance. By owning a piece of Robinhood, he could have integrated FTX's crypto offerings directly into mainstream retail trading, accelerating the normalization of digital assets. In this alternate timeline, Robinhood and FTX might have partnered to create a seamless platform where users traded stocks, options, and crypto side by side. Solana was perhaps his most famous crypto bet. As an early backer, Bankman Fried accumulated around 60 million SOL tokens. Despite volatility, Solana rebounded strongly, becoming one of the leading blockchain ecosystems. His stash would now be worth around $5 billion, representing a 27-fold gain. This reinforced his reputation as a sharp crypto picker, someone who could identify the next Ethereum before it was obvious. In this alternate history, Solana's success would have been tied to FTX's continued dominance, with the exchange serving as the primary gateway for Solana-based projects. Taken together, these bets would now total nearly $100 billion in value. In this imagined world, Bankman Fried would not be a disgraced felon, but a celebrated titan of industry. His portfolio would rival the greatest venture investors in history. Anthropic alone would have made him a legend, but the combination of AI, space, fintech, and crypto would have given him a uniquely diversified empire. He would have been hailed as the man who saw the future across multiple domains and had the courage to bet big. The implications of such wealth and influence are staggering. Politically, Bankman Fried was already a major donor in U.S. elections. Without scandal, he could have become a kingmaker in Washington, shaping crypto regulation and broader tech policy. His donations might have influenced debates on campaign finance reform, given his stated interest in transparency. Globally, he might have positioned FTX as a partner for governments exploring central bank digital currencies. In this alternate timeline, he would have been a fixture at Davos, TED Talks, and global summits, a celebrity entrepreneur whose opinions shaped policy. Philanthropically, his ties to the effective altruism movement would have given him a platform to deploy billions toward existential risk reduction. He might have rivaled the Gates Foundation in scale, funding vaccine research, pandemic preparedness, and climate technology. His investments in AI safety would have aligned with his philanthropic mission, ensuring that artificial intelligence benefited humanity rather than endangered it. In this alternate reality, he would have been remembered not only as a financial titan, but as a philanthropist who tried to save the world. Culturally, his uninterrupted rise would have had consequences too. With FTX's branding on sports arenas and media, crypto could have shed its fringe image faster. He might have become a generational icon, like Zuckerberg or Musk, symbolizing millennial disruption of finance. His eccentric personality, once mocked, would have been reframed as the quirky genius of a man who reshaped industries. Instead of being a cautionary tale, he would have been a role model for young entrepreneurs. Of course, even in this optimistic alternate history, risks abound. A single exchange dominating global crypto could have stifled competition. His aggressive trading style might still have led to systemic risks. Critics of effective altruism might have questioned whether his billions were truly solving global problems. But these criticisms would have been overshadowed by his extraordinary returns and influence. He would have been too successful to ignore. The tragedy of Sam Bankman-Fried is that all of this was possible. His venture bets were real, and their success today is undeniable. Anthropic is thriving, SpaceX is preparing for a historic IPO, Cursor is making waves in AI coding, Robinhood has rebounded, and Solana remains a leading blockchain. The only thing missing is him. His legal troubles forced liquidations and erased his control, turning potential triumph into ashes. Instead of being celebrated as a visionary, he is remembered as a fraud. In the end, the story of Sam Bankman-Fried is a reminder of the fragility of trust in financial innovation. His downfall shows how quickly brilliance can be undone by mismanagement and dishonesty. But imagining what might have been also reveals the scale of his ambition and the sharpness of his vision. He saw the future in AI, space, fintech, and crypto, and he bet accordingly. Had he avoided scandal, his portfolio would have been worth nearly $100 billion, and his legacy would have been one of genius rather than disgrace. The world lost not only a crypto exchange, but a potential titan of industry, philanthropy, and politics. What remains is a cautionary tale of squandered genius and a haunting glimpse of what might have been. And that wraps up today's deep dive from the Situation Room. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below with your thoughts. Don't forget to follow us for more global analysis and hit that notification bell so you never miss the next Situation Room update. See you in the next one.